Go ahead.
It is just a couple minutes after 9 on October 29th. We'll call the Wright County Board of Commissioners to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, Commissioner Burrell, we'll do our usual Tuesday morning weather forecast. It's amazingly sunny.
I told you that no more rain now. My wife is on the prayer deal.
Oh, okay.
The harvest is done.
Well, good things must be ahead now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, with that, we will look to approve the minutes from October 22nd, if there's any modifications.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with one correction.
Yes, Commissioner Potter?
Page 4 of 10, down there it says MIF. It says TIF fund, but it should be saying MIF,
MIF.
which is Minnesota Investment Fund, not a tax increment financing.
Perfect. All right. With that, I got a motion with that modification,
Second.
and I have a second by Commissioner Hewson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Today's agenda, does anyone like to add or modify today's agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Dahlheiden to approve today's, I was going to say consent as well, agenda. Hearing no other discussion, all in favor?
It is for the agenda.
It is for the agenda.
Consent.
Well, he almost said consent, then he almost got me to say consent. It is for the agenda.
Okay, got
All
it.
right. No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now, today's consent agenda, would anyone like to remove anything from today's consent agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to remove item C for discussion.
All right, C, all of C, or just C1, C2, C3?
C4, please.
C4, okay. You're removing C4 from the consent agenda. And that was a motion by Commissioner Potter as
Yes.
well. Motion by Commissioner Potter.
I'll
with-
second that.
Second by Commissioner Hewson to approve today's consent agenda with the removal of item C4. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, consent agenda is approved minus item C4. Item C4, reclassify one FTE K-SAVE position to one FTE social worker. And this was
It's actually referred to the Personnel Committee.
And that's right.
Those four items.
Yeah, refer those items, but he's
I'm sure.
just
I'm
discussing the
sorry,
one
3
item.
items.
So
Okay.
I'm guessing Commissioner Potter wants to make a recommendation.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Potter.
The question at hand is, when all these reclassifying that, what is the budget impact? I mean, you go from a public health nurse to a social worker, that's a savings, but you go from a case age to a social worker, that's an increase. Where's the balance on it? Where's the dollars?
Yeah, we'll find that out.
Yeah,
at that
that
meeting.
personnel.
I just want to make sure that that's clear. That's where I'll have an issue if we're starting to increase that budget over what's been set here.
Yeah. And Mr.
This-
Chair, Commissioner Potter, we can't increase the budget at this
Correct.
point, so.
Correct, but we've had it in the past where we've had it where if you're going to do these reclass or things like that, you want to do it early before the preliminary budget's set, so we know where we're sitting at, not come after.
Right.
Well, it looks
Yep.
like they're going to go from 2 full-time people to 2 part-time people, half-time.
Yep.
Yep, Mr. Chair, that is correct. We did have a meeting with Health and Human Services staff and administration staff about some of the different proposals that Health and Human Services had. Asked them to have financial numbers prepared for this committee date. Their estimates, it would be a slight increase, but they weren't sure. They were going to go back and run the numbers. So I anticipated those for the upcoming Personnel Committee, so.
And they're going to take into consideration total compensation, I'm guessing, because there is
Correct.
some savings when you factor out 2 full-time to 2 part-time in terms of total compensation.
Should be, but-
Should be.
Correct, you got to include benefits and everything.
All right.
Okay, as long as the Personnel Committee is aware of concerns on that one, I'll make a motion to approve the referral. That the November 20th Personnel Committee.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Dahlheiden to refer item 4C to the Personnel Committee. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item 4C is referred to the Personnel Committee.
Mr. Chair, if I may ask Administrator Kelly, So we have committee on November 20th and not on the 13th, correct?
Correct. At a previous meeting, we moved the committee days ahead a week for November and then consolidated down to one for December, just to work around the holidays a little bit better.
Yep.
So it'll be the 6th and the 20th in November.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're through first timed item, Auditor Treasurer, Mr. Bob Hevola. We're going to approve a plat on Cedar Lake Estates, it sounds like.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Administrator Kelly, the Mylars are for this are in the back room. But before you is a request to approve the Cedar Lakes Estate in Franklin Township. All the proper signatures and approvals are in place. I'm asking you to approve this plat.
I'll make that motion, Mr.
I'll
Chair.
second that.
Motion by Commissioner Burrell, second by Commissioner Hewsome to approve the plat for Cedar Lake Estates in Franklin Township. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
The second
Plat is
item
approved.
on the agenda, Board, I'm asking you to rescind that resolution where we established the interest rate on our ditches.
Two different
rates.
The progressive, right?
Yeah.
So I found out it's administratively a headache to do this. So what I'd like to do is recommend that we just set the interest rate on our ditch assessments, what did we say? 2.5%. And the variance is the number of years that people can pay it back at.
Yes, Chair, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Burrell, second by Commissioner Potter to set the county ditch assessment.
Rescind the
oh,
other
sorry.
ones and set it at 2.5.
Yep, to rescind the ditch assessment interest rate previously set and set the new rate at 2.5% flat rate
For all.
for all.
For all of them.
All right, any further discussion?
I guess the question, so how many, do we have the time frame you said on that?
Depends on the dollar amount, they could do it, they could tier it, I think it was.
tier it, okay.
Yeah.
They
Right,
can
I
pick
think we
whatever.
set that in the last resolution, so I
Okay,
believe.
so that stands with the
Right.
last, okay.
I think it has like 5 different tiers.
Yep.
So, Mr. Chair, Lee, I think the action item is to rescind the resolution you passed.
Yep.
As one action, and then now adopt a resolution with setting the interest rate at 2.5%.
For any length of time. right?
Okay, so the first motion I'll be looking, I guess we'll,
Well,
Commissioners, your first
can it
motion
be
going to be.
in- Can we do it in one motion, or is it a resolution?
I'm looking at,
I'm looking back there at that attorney.
No.
No,
So I just did it as a motion. I did it to rescind it and set the new one at 2.5. That was my
It's not
motion.
it's not a resolution.
Great.
Chair, Commissioner Burrell, you guys can set the motion all as one. If someone wanted to split it, you could then split the question.
Well, it's just rescind it and then set the rate, or
You could do
rescind
that
it.
as
and set-
one, and if someone wants to split it, they can.
I have no
split the
interest in
question.
one.
I did it all as
And
one.
it's nice and
Yeah.
clear, it's all as one motion.
Perfect. So we have a motion by Commissioner Potter, second, or, Commissioner Burrell, second by Commissioner Potter, to rescind the ditch assessment interest rate previously set and set a new interest rate at 2.5 flat for ditch assessments. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. See, now we learned something today.
What's that?
Yeah, you know, that we could put that together into one.
I knew that already.
You knew that already? Well, I don't know, there was, I didn't really, I believed we could, but it wasn't, Greg affirmed
You
it
have
for
3
me.
votes, you can do a lot, Mr. Chair.
Ah, good to know.
Dennis?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'm here with the resolution on a hearing for proposed assessment for property located in Middleville Township. Just looking at scheduling the hearing for November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
A question, did this pass or fail?
It failed, so they have 1 year to update.
Okay. I was just kind of curious that if we charge the inspection, no matter what, if it passed or if it failed or,
Every property that transfers in Wright County is required to have a certificate of compliance issued for and an inspection completed. This person transferred their property in 2016, ignored planning and zoning for close to 2 years. I then initiated a civil action against this owner, and it ended up getting into a default judgment. We gave them another 6 months in order to get the compliance inspection. They still did not do it, and then we went out there and did it for them. And now we're charging them for it.
okay.
As every property owner in Wright County pays for their own, this person should too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was just kind of curious on
Yep.
how
What is
that all
fair is
worked.
fair.
Yep.
Fair is fair, yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the
special.
Resolution scheduling a special assessment hearing.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Dahlheiten, second by Commissioner Houston to set a special assessment hearing. All right. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Potter?
When I was set on the Water Management Task Force back in the 90s, when we changed all this up to match the state statute sewer code 7080 to make sure that transfer of property was there. The exception was family, but they still had a big compliance, but they could still transfer title. Like you said here, transfer, they were supposed to do it, they didn't do it. And that's, we need to make sure that these are all in compliance. We had a lot of septic systems that were leaching pits,
Yes.
and we had to get rid of them. In fact, one of our tax forfeit properties a couple years ago by that lake had a leaching pit. And to get rid of it.
Do we, do our inspections, do we hire that out?
It's hired out. Yeah, compliance inspectors are hired out. This was done, you have the invoice on file. The owner of the company, the person who did the inspection was Bernie Miller, but I don't know the name of this company. Off the top of my head. But it's on the invoice.
Is there any other discussion regarding this, setting this hearing for the special assessment?
So we're going to set it for October 29th, what time, or just during?
November 19th.
November 9th, I say October 29th would be today.
Oh, okay.
November
We'd be having it in
19th.
15
Why do I
minutes.
not see the date?
It's on paragraph 1.
It's on the
second page.
resolution itself,
November what?
9th.
Yep.
In a couple of different places, Charlie.
Well, we get to work with this wonderful form, so that's what we have. Throw out a bone to our clerk.
All right, so.
Mark,
is
I'm
there-
struggling a little bit though, because my packet got shuffled up a bit, so.
Did he bump your arm and jump all over the floor?
I have the agenda, but I kind of lost it.
Do you want my glasses, Charlie?
It's just in here, I have to page through, so,
So it sounds like it's hallway bullying.
yeah.
Chair, one other
I think somebody pushed me.
Commissioner Potter?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. On this assessment, and I know I had that little joke with the attorney earlier, one part says Highway 12 Waverly, one says Howard Lake, and one says Middleville.
What is it?
You're going to confuse the bejeebers out of everybody that doesn't know where those are at.
It is Middleville Township, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Potter.
Was
Thank
it
you.
Waverly address?
Yeah,
No,
no.
it's a
It's
Howard
a
Lake
mailing address and where it's located, so, yeah.
Because, yeah,
One of those
43,
anomalies that gets to.
it would be a Howard Lake address.
Okay.
Okay, so if no other discussion, this is a resolution. Commissioner Potter?
Aye.
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 All right, public hearing is set for November, was it 9th? Was it, yeah.
19.
Or 19th at 9:30. All right, perfect, thank you. Wow, we're already 2 items for consideration. This is one of those short agendas. So Justice Owner Committee, so Commissioner Burrell, Commissioner Potter, which one of you guys wants to talk about all these wonderful little notes?
Mike summed up a lot of this last
I know he
week.
stepped over a lot of this, so he doesn't have to go in depth because we already talked a lot about this.
I could have sworn we just did this.
Yeah, we did.
Well,
Kinda
you guys did it
but
without the official minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys did it in the,
About it at the,
Okay.
As a.
at the
okay.
advisory.
Anyway, well,
Advisory.
we turned down the, I suppose, I don't say I can, I'm not finding it.
There you go.
PR
We
88.
turned down the bathroom for the fingerprinting and went through some different changes, and we're still having trouble with that terrazzo, not the terrazzo, whatever, the rail for the top of the bench for the jury not deliberation, but for the jury people.
Wasn't it
And
also
I don't,
the,
Alan's not here today, it'd be nice to see, because I'm sure he found out whether it worked or not by now.
the jury box? I also thought it was the
There's
judges.
There's different places in the courtroom where it's used.
Bench, mostly on the bench.
On the bench.
Because there's a curve issue.
Correct.
Right.
The jury box is fairly straight,
Yep.
isn't it?
The curve issue had to do more with the material that was first proposed, said it could make the curve and it couldn't.
Right.
So they change up and that didn't pass a scratch and test, a toughness test.
And-
So they have to go to another.
And like Commissioner Delighten said, could you make it out of wood? And yes, they could, but they want it to be like a hard surface apparently, so,
Yeah, well, oak is a pretty hard surface.
yeah. Yep.
I hear you can curve tile.
Anyway, the facility is, we're a little bit behind, but still on track with where they're going. They're making good progress. I don't know, what else do you have to add, Mike?
I think, Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Pop.
Yeah, when Commissioner Burrell talked about it, was a request number 88, the sink and Rule 5 room. This is a little late in the game. It's $9,200 for a sink, and like we talked a little bit last week, the public won't remember much anything else except for a $9,200 sink. That if it had come earlier, probably it'd have been $800.
If it came earlier, it wouldn't have cost $9,200 either.
Gosh, no, this, and for that kind of price, you can have those wipes and that, and that, it just is, it's just too much. The only,
And if somebody's hands were really, really dirty, they could walk them down a hallway
not
and
too
there's a
far away.
bathroom not too far away.
it's basically 60% it's on schedule at 60% completion. And the big thing is, the big change order the last month here was when we went forward with the admin building, we changed the scope of the work on the dirt work to match while that contractor was still there, and it saved us money on the admin building. So I'd get that leveled out right now.
Yep.
With that, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the Justice Center Owners Committee minutes of October 16th.
And there is a recommendation also to approve the 800
Yes.
megahertz distribution. Yep.
Sure.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Burrell to approve the Justice Owner Committee minutes from October 16th and the recommendations. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Owners Committee minutes from October 16th are approved. Now we are on to items for consideration. B, refer remote access and HHS call center to the 11-5 Committee of the Whole.
Yes, Mr. Chair, just to make sure that the date and time worked for you, I was talking with IT, and they were looking to have a committee of the whole meeting. If possible, I thought it'd be good to add it on to the November 5th meeting that's already scheduled. That meeting, the only agenda item at this time is the subordinate sewer district. I don't know if that's going to be an extensive discussion, but I was hoping we could maybe squeeze this topic on as well.
That will work for me. I mean, because I can't imagine, even if it's 90 minutes long, which I doubt, the whole, you don't know until we get into it, so.
I'll make a motion to set the remote access and HHS call center to the 11-5 Committee of the Whole,
That is at 10:30 a.m.
10:30 a.m.
Coincide with the Charlotte Martha Sewer District.
So we're meeting the Lake Charlotte after the board meeting, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, for some reason I have it earlier.
And Mr. Chair, the Lake Charlotte Martha Sewer District is going to take more than just a couple minutes to discuss, because there's a long history there, and we want to make sure everybody's clear on what direction we got to go and what the story is.
Sure. And I think if we, between both items, within a couple hours, I think we should be able to.
I think so.
Have people from the Lake Charlotte area been advised of that meeting at all?
I know Brian Esselson was working on it. I haven't spoke to him about it since last week, but I know he was indicated there was some interest, folks serving on that board that were planning to come to the meeting, so.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Lake Martha people already had a meeting on this, and they're aware of what's going on in Charlotte. We were waiting for those people to get their meeting together, but they are aware of this coming up. So it's not like a big secret, so they know it's coming up. They know it's short. We had a fairly full house for our meeting with Bob and Brian, a couple months ago now. And they're aware of the situation, and some people, of course, they're mad, but the fact is, matter is it's their sewer. They need to pay for it, and we're just trying to make it as easy as possible.
Sure. So we have a motion by Commissioner Hewsom, a second by Commissioner Potter to set the November 5th Committee of the Whole, referring to the November 5th Committee of the Whole, the HHS call center access, remote access. Was there any other further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. All right, now items for consideration C, adopt a resolution calling for a public hearing on proposed property tax abatement. This is an item that we've had some ongoing discussions on regarding the property in Otsego. At this point, we're not making any formal decisions. We're just setting a date for a public hearing, just to keep it on schedule. If the project, we wish to have the project move forward, I guess I should say. Not really looking to debate the issue itself at this time, just looking to kind of keep it going forward, because we're still waiting for some more information back from the city of Otsego at this time.
Correct.
Correct. So
And
I'd like to suggest that we hold off till we get that information before we debate the issue at any length.
Mr. Chair, yeah, I would echo your comments. We are working hand in hand with both Otsego and Ellers as we share those with financial advisors. This action item today is just to set the public hearing as it would meet to keep the timeline moving. So no decision would need to be made at this time other than to simply set that public hearing.
My intent is, once we get the information, if it looks, once I get a chance to review the information back from the city of Otsego, depending on what that information comes back with, I may be inclined to set a committee of the whole to discuss it one last time before the actual public hearing. But that is kind of at the discretion of the board here your thoughts on it.
What date are you thinking of for
Back
the,
page.
We were thinking the November 19th meeting, knowing there's already a public hearing scheduled at 9:30. We were thinking it might be wise to move this one back to 9:45 perhaps.
So we have H2 overviewers out here that day for the city of, for the ditch 33, correct, for the public, because that's not taking place at the board meeting. Is that, Greg? I can't remember what time we set that at. Because I thought we set that one at 9:32. We have a lot of these things that I think are overlapping at the exact same time. That's the only reason I just brought to my attention, because, I don't know. Does that live inside your guys' system there, Lee? I just know that,
Pulling up, let's see what we got here.
because right now my calendar on my phone is telling me that we have conflicting times. Or did he set that one for 1:30? Would it have been an afternoon one?
Recollection is it was an afternoon.
Because I thought we were taking action of it potentially at the board meeting, but then they were doing questions in the afternoon, or no? Which we decided at this point that potentially we were not going to take action at the board.
Well, Mr. Chair, members of the board, your action on CD 33 would be when you adopt the resolution formally. So I don't know what time it is, but I want to say we did an afternoon.
Okay,
But I'm not for certain.
okay. Well, we'll just go with 9:30. I guess next week
Yeah.
we can
If we have to
revise.
amend it, we'll change something.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do
Mr. Chair, we have the tactical training committee, or owners committee at 1, and I also have crime lab at 2 that day, so I can't actually make the tactical training meeting, but.
Busy day.
so
It's
a busy day.
We've already got a couple of
And
conflicts.
Mr. Chair,
It's gonna be a busy week.
Yeah.
I'm
Commissioner Potter.
noted on that, and the first two meetings aren't really going to be much of anything, so you're not missing much
Right.
at all. It's next, after the first 60 days, when it starts really kicking in the construction part, that's when hopefully your schedule will match.
Right, and, I mean, this is an unusual conflict, but I bring that point up because I'm just saying that we have, at least 2 of us have a conflict in the afternoon for that, so.
I'll make a motion to approve a resolution calling for a public hearing of proposed property tax abatement program for November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dowling,
Second,
second by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, just clarification, we'll have to move that time back as
9:45, because we already set a public hearing on that other property at
correct.
9:30. So set at 9:45, is that a friendly amendment?
yes.
Okay.
Just, okay,
Perfect.
perfect. Thank you.
All right, so setting a public hearing on November 19th at 9:45 a.m. for the property tax abatement program. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Resolution.
Sorry, resolution, Commissioner Dowling.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Administrator Kelly, fellow board members, is this something, just because I don't want to get to that board meeting, it's already shaping up to be a long agenda. If there's going to be any kind of debate on it, I'd rather schedule a committee of the whole to vet out your questions on the information provided back by the city of Otsego, than to get to that board meeting, which is, like I said, we already have a number of items on it, and I don't want us to be stretching out to a 3-hour board meeting.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A solution to that is if it gets too intense, we can continue to another date forward to make it, if it's getting to be too much to try to digest or ingest that day, you can continue that meeting?
I guess the only concern is that I know there's a time schedule to what the city of Otsego is intending to do, and we're trying to meet that time schedule, but I guess if we have to continue, I'm just trying to be friendly to the circumstances of the situation.
Bob has something otherwise? I have
Go ahead.
Bob and Jeff?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner Burrell.
No, I just said it also depends for me on, I don't know how you guys feel, but with the owner of the main business there taking us to tax court all the time, that's gonna be a big decision
Well,
point for me.
That is something that they are including in
That
there.
Otsego is working, okay.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean, though, we're not gonna give somebody a break to fight us in court,
Yep.
for the next 5 years.
No, and they were unaware of that until we let them know. I had a conversation with their administrator. And they're gonna put that in their
Agreement.
agreements.
Was that Tammy that pointed that out to us, or who, from the auditor's office?
the auditor's office.
Tony.
And Tammy.
Do want to
Came
state,
from the auditor's
guys,
office.
that there is a substantial different
Both came up
information
with it
now
together.
Okay.
into what the request is based on the fact that our inability to front the money, they're looking for us to abate a larger chunk of the property now, or a larger chunk of money in exchange, since we will, I guess there's not the interest to go for GO bonds by the city of Otsego with the county. So the question is, and that's the reason my question is, do you guys want to wait until the 19th to discuss all these different details and the different nuances? Or do you guys want to be able to have a committee of the whole, talk through it, let it soak in before you make a decision? That's the reason, just because
Mr. Chair,
it's changed substantially.
perhaps
Yes.
we could add it on our workshop next week unless there's already a lot.
I don't think we're gonna have the information by then.
Well, they discussed it last night at the Otsego meeting. I got an update. They've got their parameters pretty dialed in, Lee. Would you, I think what they want now, I don't want to put it out there until they put it in formalized writing.
Yeah, I haven't gotten an update from last night's meeting, but I know that what we had responded with seemed to be palatable. I think was the best available situation that could work for all parties involved. So I think it's kind of congealing around.
I expect to get the informal writing within the next couple of days from them, so that's the reason I say if
So,
you know.
Mr. Chair, we could do that at a workshop and discuss it, and answer a few more questions, so when it gets to the public hearing, it's not as many left.
Which is fair, because that gives us more time. I always want to get to that meeting, we have more questions, and now we have no time to get answers.
You get some
Yep.
preliminary numbers.
So, Mr. Chair, if I could just kind of clarify. So we had meetings with Ellers, both our advisors and their advisors. Really, the action item is the abatement hearing that you're going to have. It's how much, how long, and which parcels that are going to be involved with it. So that's the action item that's on the table, is our ability to abate the tax increment for this, so.
So do you guys want to discuss that at the workshop? I mean, I know our workshop's pretty hefty, but I mean, we can,
I mean, another option is we could come to the November 5th meeting next week if we wanted to schedule something between the latter part of next week, potentially. Off of that November 5th board meeting, schedule a committee of the whole outside of a workshop. That would be an option.
because we had tentatively planned something already for the 6th, wasn't it, or 7th, wasn't it, that we were talking about?
The 6th and the 8th.
The 6th and the 8th, yeah, in
Correct,
the
yes.
afternoon, yes. So, then that would be a possibility that we could tag something in on those times, so. Because I don't think we need much more than maybe 30 minutes to an hour just to kind of get an update on the information
Yeah,
and just let everybody soak
hopefully 30
in.
minutes to do it.
So, I guess I would be more inclined to say, you know what, let's just schedule something on November 6th in the afternoon, and we'll flex, we can always modify the time next Tuesday if we needed to, you think, or?
That certainly would be an option. If we are going to look at something on the 6th, I think it'd be better to set it sooner than later, i.e. address it today rather than wait. 'Cause I know
Whatever you guys think in this.
Well, we can't do the morning of the 6th because there was conflicts.
Correct.
Yeah, in the morning of the 6th, we have committees and I have IT and committee and so forth, but I mean, we could do,
Do we know if we'll be meeting yet on the 6th for interviews and stuff?
Staff are working on it right now, so I don't have confirmation if it works.
Because that's the biggest thing too, because if we have to get 3 consecutive hours, I want to keep that Wednesday the 6th open on that.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, Administrator Kelly, could we set a committee of the whole and then add the specific items after?
If you have a date in mind,
So if it would be the afternoon of November 6th, could you set it at
Well-
1 o'clock and then,
The biggest thing is we're trying to keep 3 hours open to do.
right,
Do you guys want to meet on?
so,
hello.
so you could set it for 4:30 if you need to amend, 4 o'clock, and if you need to amend it.
I got this Saturday open.
I do too.
32, actually.
Like a conference call from Dallas.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tuesday, the 5th, we already have the meetings in the morning. Would it be such a bad thing to have it at 1 o'clock?
I mean, I can go with the committee of the whole on the 1 o'clock on
I've
that.
got,
No.
we have union negotiations.
We have
Oh,
union.
okay, so that take care of that?
How's the Monday the 4th?
I won't be around.
That would be
Union
bad
from
for me.
8 to 4:30.
Yeah, we have union negotiations. I'll make a motion to
12 o'clock.
tentatively set it for
12:30 on November 6th,
November 6th at 12:30, and we'll
because then we
go
still,
from there. We can always cancel it if things don't work out, so.
all right,
November, what are you saying, 5th?
November 6th at 12:30.
that's good.
Why do I have something written down? I started to
1
write something
o'clock.
at 1 o'clock.
Because we have the potential interviews that day.
But we don't know
We don't
yet.
know
That's
yet.
right.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep that whole afternoon open. So this way it gives us still 3 hours in the afternoon.
Well, not only that, but we're setting committee of the whole for the 6th, which could encompass interviews and the abatement issue with Oxego property.
All right.
right.
So November 6th, we have a motion by Commissioner Dahlheiden to set a committee of the whole at November 6th at 12:30.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Committee of the whole is approved unanimously. All right, schedule a committee of the whole for elected official salaries.
Hang on a sec, we never adopted the resolution for the hearing. We had a motion and a second on
that's
the
right.
floor on that
Ah,
already,
I-
so
All right,
violated parliamentary procedure
Procedure.
technically.
you did.
Sorry,
So I
didn't
guess we have to go back because we had a motion and a second. I never took a vote on that resolution, so.
Correct.
We did have the motion on that,
Was
Biden.
by Dahlheiden.
by Delighten.
Second by me.
By Commissioner Potter to set the property tax abatement program hearing for November 19th at 9:45 a.m. Any further discussion? It's a resolution. I'll start off. Aye.
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 All right. Resolution passes. It's set for November 19th at 9:45 a.m. Now to set the committee of the whole for November 6th at 12:30 p.m. by Commissioner Dahlheiden. Motion. Second by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The November 6th committee of the whole at 12:30 has been approved. There we go. Thank you. That's why, that's why you make the big bucks, to keep us, in line. All right, items for consideration, number D, schedule committee of the whole for elected officials, salaries.
As you know, Mr. Chair, we have to do this annually for our 3 elected officials as well as the board. We had reached out to the elected officials, and the 26th date worked for all of them. I wanted to check if that works with your calendars as well.
The 26th of November,
Correct.
Correct.
so after the board meeting?
At
Correct.
10:30.
Yep.
I'll make
Mr.
that
Chair.
motion, Mr. Chair, to set that date.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Hewsome. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. All right. Advisory updates. Administrator Kelly, you'll get to kick it off today.
All right, I get to start. Couple things. We're getting going on the ERP sessions. That started as of yesterday. Was the first one. So starting on the procure to pay portion of it. So staff have been working on that. Additionally, last week had a CMRP meeting. I believe that was on Thursday. I also, again, thank you for the meeting yesterday, the retreat that we had with the board. I think that was very good discussion, and it'll help us plan some of our future things moving forward, so. think that's all I have.
Commissioner Potter?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two things. On the November 26th, that's when the IT director will give us a little report. It was 90 days in, what's going on, just to refresh people's memory. And hopefully Matt will remember that too. The other item had Wright County Economic Development Partnership met last Friday in Waverly, and Administrator Kelly showed up to, observe and what's going on there. And like we talked at the retreat yesterday, just come in once in a while just to see what's going on. Talked about the different things going on. Again, the executive director position came to light again, and we're going to hold subsequent discussions on how we want to handle that going forward, whether it continue with the EDP or go to EDA. But that's basically where that's at. They're sitting in pretty good shape now, and we have what's called the workforce pathways. It's driving career growth business in Wright County. They're going to print with the publication with the flyer, and going to different schools and showing all the skills and trades that are available, some to kids out there. Got a lot of manufacturers involved, and they have, Tim Zapoy has basically a weekly meeting with different manufacturers, and once a month he's on the radio with it.
Yeah.
And opportunities out there for us. So it's a good thing. It's been working on it for a while.
It's too bad we don't have the county should have gotten involved in that, having something here too for government careers. With IT or GIS or.
Social work. There's a whole.
I think that was talked about at AMC a little bit, but the thing is, this is just for us. What the thing is, with Dwayne Northagen, he's retiring next April. But when I told him we have 70% of our workforce migrates out of the county for work, they would say we're trying to task that to see if we can get that number down to 50%. And getting to 20 or 10 is not going to happen, but 50%, I think we can accomplish that if we do a few of these things, like we're helping get businesses started, manufacturing started in this county. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Potter. Commissioner Deline?
One quick question regarding that. How does the board from the Wright County Economic Development, what are their feelings for moving forward with
EDA.
with an EDA or whatever, with him retiring? What are their thoughts? Do they have any
They're
thoughts?
concerned what we're going to do.
But
We haven't done anything yet.
No, I know, but do they have any suggestions or what they would like to see in the
They want to
future?
wait till what, November 12th, was that, with the committee?
Yeah, they were
workshop?
interested in having that as a discussion item at our upcoming workshop. Kind of some of the things that were discussed were having my staff get kind of an idea of what the market for a position like that would be. I kind of got the flavor at the meeting that there was a desire from that group to maintain that as a position under the Economic Development Partnership, and had hoped that the county would potentially put some more funds towards that position. But we didn't know quite what the market for that would be, so we've kind of started
They
pulling
were
together.
interested in using it like kind of like a partnered benefited getting the benefits for the position through the county.
Potentially,
kind of like a sort of situation.
we're looking into the feasibility of that. It's challenging because that's not on our payroll, so to speak. It's not a county position. We do provide some of those services for other entities, but we also do payroll for them. So we're looking at, one of the city administrators knew of a way to potentially get that done through an agreement. So kind of exploring that if the board has an appetite to do it. So just trying to lay out the different ideas.
So if they actually clearly just put the pay, but then they would be technically an employee of the county then if they payrolled them then.
No, not
No.
necessarily.
Not
Well,
necessarily.
yes and no.
Well, we don't do for.
We've
sort of
separated
law.
out, we're getting out in the weeds, I guess. But
Yeah.
we've made sure, especially with some of the health insurance laws and stuff that have come up in the last about 7 years, that we partial off those as separate entities
Okay.
and kept them clean. We're just more of a administrator of handling paperwork, so to
Paperwork.
speak.
And Mr. Chair, I didn't
Getting
go
the
too
payroll
deep
done.
into that conversation because that's something that requires all five of us to listen, hear, and figure out what to do, not one.
Okay.
All right. Commissioner Dolan?
Yeah, last week I was up in St. Cloud for land use issues. I listened to a bunch of attorneys. Some of them were actually very smart. They didn't wear bow ties or anything. They actually had real ties on and stuff like that, and they were very, very interesting to listen to. Found out that Charlie's wrong a lot in, some of these land use issues. No, it was an interesting thing about variances and that sort of stuff. Some of the things that you can open up by doing some of those issues. I left my notes in my vehicle, but it was very interesting. They talked about some of the case laws on some of the issues that some of the counties and cities have run into. It was pretty much related to county issues. So it was very interesting and an educational experience. That's about it.
So last week on Thursday, we had our usual CMRP, Central Minnesota Mississippi Regional Planning Partnership. I thank Commissioner Dolan for coming and attending. The group is getting quite large. Administrator Kelly would vouch for it. We did agree to our RFQs to enter into negotiations with Planning Next as our planning firm for the group. So we'll be working on the scoping with that. All last week, all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, myself and Commissioner Dolan, along with a variety of other staff and Councilman Hilgard and Seth Hansen, Councilman for Big Lake, were on the interviewing panel. So we had, was it 5? Well, there's 6 and we interviewed 4. And all of them were very, very capable of it. We kind of went with Planning Next because we felt like they had the good mix of rural and urban. So a lot of the firms that came in there and we were interviewing, they either were very rural in dealing with things, or they were extraordinary urban, where they were working in like DC or in the Atlanta area. Where not quite sure. I mean, because we're the kind of that mixed bag of urban rural, so we really felt like they understood what we were trying to accomplish with this plan. So
The unique dynamics of that area.
Exactly. So now we are working this next week here on the scope for the planning. Myself and the same members of most of the members and that were on the interviewing team, as well as a variety of staff as well. So with that, the board at the CMRP approved the JPA. It'll be coming back to all the member entities. Administrator Kelly will probably have that to us somewhere within the next couple of weeks, because the goal was to have it done by Thanksgiving is kind of the deadline we set to get that approved by all members. So with that, we're also working on creating a lot of internal policies for fiscals and responsibilities as well, because we're trying to build continuity. So it was recommended that a lot of the delegated workload, where it currently is right now, will stay with those member entities. So at this time, all of the financials are being done by Big Lake Township. Big Lake Township will retain that. We are doing all the clerical administrative piece here with Wright County, and that will stay. Deb is facilitating that. Mark Schneider is kind of the administrator for the group, and his role will be staying with Sherburne County as well. So, and all of the marketing and website is all being done by the city of Monticello, and that will stay there as well.
Nice to have it divided up.
Yep.
So, Mr. Chair, and this whole entire thing is to get
River crossing.
a river crossing. So what would happen if the group never existed? We would never get another river crossing, or?
Well, there's because you have to understand, they only build a new river crossing maybe 1 to 2 every 100 years. So to get that river crossing, there's a lot of hoops that we have to jump through, and there's a lot of intent and collaboration that we have to prove to make us worthy of getting that.
And I'm not questioning the need for it, because I'm down on Highway 12, and we need to get 4 lanes at least out to Delano or beyond Delano. Our traffic counts are just terrible there. The congestion is bad, accidents and everything. And it's like, is this what we have to do to get something done? And it seems like it is, and it's kind of it's a shame, you know?
There's a lot of other byproducts that, as we're talking about this group, that we can do. There's a lot of economic development that we can collaborate with through this group. There's the planning pieces of it that we can help to get an idea to the townships what the 5, 10, 15, 20 years in terms of planning aspects would look like in this area in terms of land use, potential
But
annexation areas.
I guess my point is, it's a shame, and I'll just leave it at that, that we have to do this to get the things that we need, the infrastructure that we need from the state and federal government, because it's not, I mean, I don't think it's a county function to put a river crossing across.
No, it's not.
No,
And that's the.
And I don't think it's a county function to improve a US highway to accommodate the traffic.
well, but the other side of it is this would be
state
a new,
highway
this
with
new
55.
river crossing probably wouldn't be a state highway, it would be a county road. And at that point, we would have to build the infrastructure supporting that to it. And that's the reason we have to have these conversations, because it takes collaboration on the Sherburne County side as well as Wright County side, as well as the city of
Do you have state
Monticello.
representatives that are coming to this group then?
Not
too?
at this point, because right now we have a lot of, we've kind of backed up a little bit, because we went into this idea about a river crossing, and it became very evident that both sides of the river have been planning so separately that where development was expected to happen in Sherburne County and where it was expected to happen in Wright County, in the land
They didn't
uses,
match
they
up.
didn't match up.
Places,
So
yeah.
we now realize that we have to have these, we have to go backwards and start having these discussions on how we can modify these land uses so that'd be more cohesive, and so we can actually collaborate in figuring out where would be a best place for both sides to flourish with a new river crossing.
And Mr. Chair, Commissioner Burrell, a river crossing, the environmental regulations are just befuddling. I mean, oh my God, all the hoops, to cross at Stillwater, just to replace that bridge, what was there, almost 30 years into that process? These don't happen. Highway 12, the dynamics you have there is you have the Met Council down there with what they did.
Oh, they narrowed it down
What they
with the
did.
bypass, yeah.
And that's what's hurting you out there now, and they're a kinder, friendlier group, but it's still, beware.
What is your favorite saying? You're either at the,
Table around the menu.
yeah. Oh, we want to make sure we're at the table.
So there's a lot of effort going into this group, but I see there's a lot of value for it. This group probably should have been having these discussions probably 10, 15 years ago, or even 20 years ago, and things probably would have been moving along a lot swifter at this point, just because as we grow, it's going to end up being urban on both sides of the river as time grows on, and we kind of need to make sure that both sides of the river mesh.
Hey, Mr. Chair, a little history lesson on that one. They had what was called the Interregional Corridor Study that was done about 20 years ago. That was more for recreation to the Northland. And it was like pie in the sky, lot of dreams, hopes, wishes, and everything else. It didn't get anywhere. It really didn't address the issue of moving local traffic and economic development. Now, all these roads and the planning has more to do with economic development, freight movement, and people movement. It actually is more focused on the important things, more core function than dreams.
Yep.
So the river crossings that they had proposed were up by Hasty and Clearwater, which doesn't match where the freight traffic, it didn't match that at all. So that's off to the side, now they're back refocusing.
They did put a new crossing at Clearwater, though.
No, they just redid
They
it.
Replace the bridge.
Replaced it, but it's a new, it was totally new.
So when I say new every 100 years, that's new ones, that's not a replacement.
Oh, I
So when
see.
a brand new river crossing where there was never a bridge before, those happen about 2 every 100 years, so it's.
The other dynamics with the Clearwater crossing 24 is there was no center turn lane, so if there was an accident halfway through it, it was a pain in the hind end. Now this new bridge there, if you get on it, you'll see where the walking path is on the one side is wide enough to get any ambulance out anywhere into that road. And Representative Newberger was instrumental on making sure these things were taken care of.
That's a nice.
So there'd be a lot more discussion
improvement.
on that. And
Did
right
you
now,
guys agree on where the crossing's gonna be yet?
no, right now we backed up. We're not even talking about that anymore at this point, because right now we have to go back to the planning pieces, and we'll revisit that discussion at a later date.
Well, that's the update I want to have when you guys agree on it.
Absolutely. And so at this point, we kind of bookend it, kind of Clearwater to Elk River, Otsego.
Somewhere
We're
in there.
entertaining if any other groups, whether Silver Creek Township or Monticello, Otsego, or Elk River, are interested in wanting to participate. Some of them have been attending the meetings. They haven't officially.
Because right now, the crossing at 25 is a nightmare.
It-
I mean,
It's
it's,
really busy.
Oh, it's
you don't even, I mean, even when it's not even rush hour, it's bad traffic.
Charlie? I would have to say that we won't be alive by the time a new bridge
Really?
is done. Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm alive.
Yeah, Derek
Well,
probably will.
you're a little bit younger than we
Well,
are.
if you quit smoking, maybe.
No, all right. Always comes back to me.
That's all I have at this
Okay.
point. So.
Sorry to harass you.
No, you're good.
Well, I had a number of meetings, but nothing advised that pertains to advisory committees. And I don't know if Charlie wants to share that he put a
Well-
very big smile
Yeah, we had
on
a,
someone's,
we're actually trying to get a little article for the paper, so I don't want
Spoil the
to
story.
too much, but
Oh,
we,
okay.
there was
Oh, you don't have to worry. You're not going to be spoiling it. There's not that many people
But I
that
said
watch this.
it was a graveyard that was basically vandalized about 1990, late 90s.
Yeah, about- I think she said
And, the
97.
stone, we finally recovered it
Recovered
and
the
got
snow.
it re-erected, and it was on this person's, there was a relative of theirs, and she said it was on her bucket list. And she's 90.
One. She just
91.
turned that one.
But I told her, now, just because we got it up doesn't mean you can,
Take
take
the bucket.
I said, I want to meet you out here on your 100th birthday.
But Commissioner Hewson and I were both there. We had, there were probably a bunch of neighbors came out, and it was a pretty nice little time, so.
We've been
we'll
kind
see
of
if-
working with her you have for a while, and I have for the last couple of years, so it was wonderful to get this stone recovered and.
Yeah.
It was nice
Cover
for you
the
guys
stone.
to work on that, more or less of an abandoned cemetery to get it
Yep. correct.
improved.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, it's plotted, it's recorded and everything, so, but anyway.
Is there room out there?
There's a
Oh,
lot
yes,
of room.
It's quite large. It's, I
So the
want to say
people,
two football fields long and a
Oh, so
We
people
went-
can get
We went to
buried
the
out there?
recorder's
Yeah.
office last
Did
year.
you buy a
and-
plot then, Charlie?
No,
try to get a good deal on it.
okay, but anyway, that was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, for me, I don't know if it's advisory or not, but I was down with Commissioner Kruger from McLeod County. We met with the DNR over our involvement with the DNR with county ditches, where we have affecting public waters, and we're trying, I think we made headway, but I don't know if we're just getting lip service. It seems like there's factions there that want to really work with us and help us out, but then you had attorneys down on the other end that just kind of not wanting to give a bit. So I don't know where it's gonna go, but.
Attorneys do that?
Yeah. Anyway, we have a follow-up meeting and we'll see where it goes, so. I'll keep our staff here advised and that stuff, so. That's all I had.
All right. Is there any other business we need to attend to? Otherwise, we will adjourn today's county board meeting at 9:55.
I just want addresses so that I know where I can bring my grandkids to your guys' house for trick or treating
Oh,
on
please
yeah.
do. Yeah.
It's a long drive
You
for
could
me.
mix it in with my group. We'll adjourn 9:55.